on it so you guys can see what's going on. I know. Hopefully I come through all right. You guys may be getting tired of these live ones, but it's easier for me to just jump on here and do this and talk about something than make a video, edit it, and all that, and by the time I get it on YouTube. So anyway, I was curious, I thought some of you might be also, why this Clamber, if you guys remember right, I did a live one last night when I first got this reel, why this drag clicker is so much quieter than the PW100. As you can see, the frames are made a little different, but they're internally, you know, Fishband made them. They're almost the same thing with slight changes. So I'm wondering what they did different, why they, if the PW100 was out first, so it had the drag clicker, they already had it made. So what did they change? Is it just the aluminum material that's not letting it make a noise or what? So I did take the Clamber apart last night and then I put it back together and did some test casting today as soon as I got off work, but it was kind of too dark to really make a video. So there's, if you guys can see that in there. See that little clicking device? Just a little bitty, and imagine there's a spring inside there. So basically drilled a hole in the shaft to fit a spring, and then this little pin, and then this internal gear, or not a gear, but I think it's just a washer with this I think that's plastic, and maybe that's why it's so quiet. Because that, it looks like a shiny fake plastic. I don't know for sure. I haven't taken it apart all the way yet. But that's this is the Clamber. This is the, now this isn't the one I made. I've made one and put in mine. I don't even remember, I'll be honest. It looks like the same exact thing. You hear that? Oh, I see what they did. I see where they goofed up. Here's what they did. I don't know, maybe you can order the part for the other one. Hopefully you guys can make that out. This here is the Clamber. Got a lot bigger teeth. The PW100 has smaller teeth. You hear that? That just sounds so much better. I got the spool going all crazy. I didn't pull it out, but you wouldn't think it would make a, if anything, you'd think this one would clunk and get, because the teeth were bigger, but that's goes to show you, like I mentioned, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think I ever had this reel apart, because I liked it right out of the box. It's the one with the purple spool, had the clicker already, so all I did was change the handle on it. I know some of you are thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why'd you put the single handle on it? Mind your business. Anyway, that is definitely what's needed on this reel, is the difference. I don't know if that'll work in. Maybe I got a dud. Maybe the spring's too tight. Maybe I need to take it apart, and I don't know. We'll look at it more, but I was very curious to figure out what was the difference. And as you can see, they're made, looks to be identical except for the, just maybe they thought the one, you know, bigger teeth would last longer. I don't know if anybody's complained about an issue with the original PW100 making a, you know, wearing out. I have no clue. I haven't had any issue with mine. And while we're on the subject of reels, I know they're tore apart now. They're not going to do any casting for a while. I got to get them back together. If somebody wants a video on how to get it to this far, it's really not complicated. And I'm going to try it. I don't know if they'll fit, but I'm just going to see how far off. Yeah, they're way off. They look so close, but they're not the same. They just turned everything. If you can make it out, you would almost swear that they're the same reel. And I'll show you on the side plate. Let me get, oh boy, I got to, look at this. I got a mess going here. Let me get this spool out of here. That's Don't worry about it. It's braid. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I can fix that. So here is the band. Oh, I'm going to have, oh boy. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I know how to put stuff back together. I'm going to, here, before I go too crazy, I'm just going to stick this back together. Just far enough to where it won't fall apart any further. So here is the side of the PW100. Here's the plate, and that's the only way it'll fit, because it won't fit the other way because the spool is a different size, and I'll talk more about that later. But I can get the plate kind of on, but it won't click on, because you can see the molding down here. It's just, they changed it just enough that nothing like interchanges. It's almost like they based this reel off this reel, but then they changed stuff around. So anyway, the reason the PW one won't fit is because, I mean, oh boy, I know what you're thinking. I'm gonna get everything all mixed up. I know where it goes. I know what I'm doing. This, whoa, I know what I'm doing. That was loud. The, what you call it? What do you call it? Yeah, but what do you call it? It's a whatchamacallit. That won't fit in here because this has a bigger spool just by a little bit. I'm not sure how far. Look at that mess I got. But it's definitely not the same diameter. And I don't know, you guys, I don't read specs. You guys know what I'm talking about. But almost all the other components are basically the same thing. That's out of the Clamber. Like as you see this stack. Now the Clamber came with the graphite drag disc, and then this is just a regular one. But I'm almost positive, do they say they have the same gear ratio? I don't even know. What gear ratio does this thing have? Yeah, 6:6 to 1. I'm pretty sure that's what the PW100s have. So yeah, the gears are the same. So I know you can get, and the shafts, actually, if you could get this shaft and put in a PW100, it would lighten the PW100 even more. If you guys see that, they've taken the extra time. This shaft is crazy cut out compared to the PW100 because they were dealing with more weight being aluminum frame. That's how they had to take even more off the other components. But the gears look identical. They're very skinny. If you guys, I know some of you guys that deal with Daiwa and Shimano will be like, wow, those gears are, for an aluminum gear and skinny as it is, you would think durability may be an issue. Hello. So anyway, as far as issues go, this is the one I've had forever. Well, a couple years. Two years, maybe 3. I don't know. I think I watched the real test video today. I think he said 2019 is when most of these, the higher quality CDM, as they call them now, reels came out. So we're actually halfway through 21. So yeah, probably a couple years, 2.5 years. Without an issue, without any breakage. I did switch out the spool. I still have the stock spool that it came with somewhere around here, along with half a dozen other spools. And if you guys are in the market, because I'm going to be selling a lot of stuff. I got so much junk that I don't even really need or want anymore. I got so much junk I can't find. Well, here's just a hint of the spools. And I don't even own the brand of reels anymore. Anybody know what spool that is? I ain't telling you. I got, anybody know what spool that is? Let it focus. I know you Daiwa guys, you'll know what spools these are. Oh, here it is. There's a stock spool. Nothing wrong with it. I just switched it out for the one that's a gram lighter. I got a, oh, here it is. Then I got this spool. And yes, you can tell by the inductors that these are Daiwa spools for the old, that's actually out of the TD 103M. That's the Alpha's Type R spool. And then that, I believe, is the, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the other Alphas, the little boy. I can't think of the name of it right now. But that is actually a very, very good spool. It already had, if you can tell, that's a micro bearing with the bushing, bigger bushing, so it fit. That Alpha was an awesome reel. I actually destroyed the side plate. I got the whole case around here somewhere. But you live and you learn. Don't try to knock this, whatever that is, the main big roller bearing. Don't try to knock that out of that. It's bad. It's not good. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I think that's all the cool spools I got. I do have a brand new spool that I bought when I had my Abu Garcias. Ammo spool. Bought this, and before it even made it in the mail, because of AliExpress. You know the deal. Month and a half. I already got rid of all my Abu Garcia reels. But that, I believe, my friends, is the one. It came with another little, somewhere there's a little adapter. And I want to say that can go in the, I'll be honest, I don't even remember which Abu Garcia. The little ones is either the MG Extreme or one of its siblings that had the magnetic brakes. But I can't remember which one. But, you know, the newer JDM, not the fourth generation that was in the United States, because those all were big and sucked, but the ones from Japan, the LTX BF8, the ALC BF7, the MG Extreme 2, and there's a few others, but that spool's for one of those. New cool handle, swept, aluminum, heavy, but looks cool. And while I'm on the subject, before I get out of here tonight, and the reason I don't use any aluminum knobs, because in the winter, and I typically can get into a good winter, you know, cold weather fishing, and metal, anything you put your hands on and are touching for very long when it's cold, it just stays cold, the cold into your fingers, and that's why I've done away with all aluminum knobs. The like cool purple ones that came with this reel, the one on the lingle that I got coming, those gold ones, I'm sure I won't use. I end up going with this right here, in case anybody's wondering what my favorite style of knob is. And I like the camo ones. You can get the red, the blue, just the brown, and the purple. But just for comfort, feel, in my mind, that's best all around. Just they're big, they can get wet, you can still hold on to them. I like those kind of knobs. These aren't bad. The cork, you can tell they're a little harder, not quite as grippy. What state am I fishing in? State of confusion right now. No, Missouri mainly. We hit Kansas sometimes. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with down around the Deepwater area, Clinton Lake. Not necessarily Clinton Lake, but there's a lot of, that's my favorite place at the moment to fish. If you guys ever heard of strip pits, oh man, I'm telling you what. I got videos out with me and Charles. I called it paradise, but we were going to some of these strip pits that were so clear. Now the bass aren't that big because the guy that's letting us fish it, that's part of the reason is he wants some of the little ones caught out of there. But I caught a 5-pounder out of there, and when we first started going down, the first like 2 or 3 trips, oh man, it was like every other cast. And it didn't matter what you were throwing. Clear water, you could throw 40-pound braid, they'd still hit at it. And just in our time in fishing there, so I talk about, you know, fish kind of become conditioned and will stop hitting near as well just for and fishing pressure can just be you on, especially when it's smaller bodies of water, and you'll see the difference. Like this place, I don't think it'd been hit in a while. And I mean, it was when fish don't know any better at all, fish just kind of get conditioned if they hear this. They just associate bad things with either be like, maybe they don't even know what line is, but just something long and stringy, the sound of a boat, a trolling motor. There's just all kinds of things that they claim bass aren't smart, but trust me, there's just things that after a while bass kind of get accustomed to and not feeding during those times. Oh no, we did. What's weird about right where I'm at in Missouri, I'm kind of on the Kansas-Missouri side, border. And over here on the Missouri side, I've yet to catch a smallmouth bass, and that's mainly where I fish. But I've been to Kansas a few times, and I heard that, Melbourne Lake in Kansas, they were talking about, we had the Average Joe's Fishing Club, had a meet and greet there, and they're like, they're guaranteed to be smallmouth. So I went, and there's a video I got on that also where I caught my first and only so far smallmouth on BFS gear. And I've seen other people's pictures. And Charles, once you go further south in Missouri, like down where I'm talking about, we start going to these strip pits, the streams and stuff. I caught a spotted bass out of there. I've yet to catch a smallmouth. Charles sent me a couple pictures, another spot he's got. I just haven't been down there with him yet. And he's caught a few smallmouth. But I'm like around the Smithville Lake. I don't go as far south unless I'm going down around the Deepwater area, but just these local, if you guys are familiar or know anything about the Kansas City area, we basically have 3 lakes around us, Longview, Blue Springs Lake, and Lake Jacomo, that are what you would call like close, short driving distance, and they get fished hard. They're not, in my mind, that great of fishing. Lake Jacomo is actually decent fishing, but it's nothing to write home about. I don't know. I think I've caught 5-pounders out of there. I've had maybe where I caught 15 to 18 tops. You're not going to have any blistering awesome days at any of these lakes that are close to the city where they just have a ton of pressure. And a few times I've gone to Smithville. Smithville, anybody knows this area, back in the day, it like boomed up, and at one time was some great largemouth bass fishing, and then it since fizzled out. And I heard a few years ago there was starting to be a rumor about it was coming back, but I haven't heard any more talk about it being any kind of decent fishing. Yeah, a monster around here. You guys will hear me on my videos call them huge and a giant. About 5-pound bass, 5 and 6 pound bass, they're big. You'll catch 8-pounders. There's been 8-pounders caught. I think actually Average Joe's at a tournament at Maple Leaf Lake, and I fish it from time to time, but I think the biggest I've caught out there is 4.5 or 5. And I think somebody caught an 8-pounder during that tournament. Some tournament I've seen on my Facebook page. They talked about the big bass was 8 pounds, and I've seen an 8-pounder caught out of Jacomo. It's been several years. So I'm not saying that, and I think my cousin years back, he had an 8-pounder mounted. I'm talking like 20 years ago or plus, but I don't think it'd be very hard pressed to catch anything over 8 pounds. I'm not saying you can't find a 10-pounder over in this area, but if you do, you've done something. And I've only caught, I think I didn't have, I know I'm telling the here, I didn't happen to have a good enough camera. I got a picture of it, but the picture's since been lost. This was years ago. I didn't even have I had a flip phone, didn't have a camera. My cousin took a picture of it. It was getting dark, and we guessed it at 7.5 pounds is like my record. It was big. It was a big bass. Well over 6. You guys have seen on video. I've caught some 6-pounders, weighed them, and it was bigger than those, but it's just a guess that my personal best is 7.5. You remember Candace, right? No. Monkey Brains 41. Yeah, reels have come a long way. That's what I've talked about, and I was going to show you guys before I get out of here. I picked this up actually on AliExpress too, and I bought this for my RC stuff, just to get. It doesn't have to be precise. This is just a cheap set of digital calipers. Well, I was going to show you guys. Hang on, don't go anywhere. Don't move. I'm going to find my rod because it's hard to measure, and I have this reel all apart. But like when they're measuring on reels and you want to know how high and low. Oh, look at that, just fell off. Oh my God. Do you guys know where that goes? Yeah, I know where it goes. But I'm just going to show you that I sort of found a way last night to just give like a good idea, for me anyway, because this reel is so flat right here that if you hold it flat on the reel, and the Aldebaran is like 53, and all these others, this one's a little bit higher. I got one reel together, I'll show you. So it's 53.5, sets real low. Just rather than just by eyeballing it, it gives you kind of more exact numbers of how high up a reel sets. And this one is 55, so almost 56. Yeah, it's actually 56. So it's within a very close thing, but that's, millimeters taller, which you don't think that's much difference, but man, in your hand, it's a world of difference. And one other thing about the Aldebaran, because people are wondering, like, why does it feel so small? Because it looks small, but I've heard them talk about how there's other reels smaller than this, but I don't think there really are. I think it's misleading because it kind of looks big and bulky right there, but it sets way down and in there. So one other measurement you can kind of do here is how wide they are. So if you basically go to and it's hard to get a good accurate reading here, but just to roughly the inside of that is like, I'm going to guess it right there, 36.5. And so this reel is about 39. So not only does it set a few millimeters down, it also sets, this part comes into play too. Like when the size of a reel all comes into play, and then see how it's cut back, which most reels are to a certain extent. But just that part protruding out, you wouldn't think, but once you've had this reel on a rod and then palmed it, and I've talked about how this is cut down too, all those little things, and I don't know how much true design came into that as far as the palming aspect, but all those little things come into play when you palm an Aldebaran reel. And I have yet to find another one. Even the little Alpha's TW Air is small, but it just doesn't have that fill. This reel I can't really show you, but it comes close. But it is definitely, it's about the same width as this. There's not much of a difference in the thing. It's made almost the same way, but it is a couple millimeter. It's like another millimeter or so shorter. So it does palm a little bit better than this, but not quite to the Aldebaran specs. And once I get everything all together, at some point I may put a video together. I probably need more reels because I'll be honest, I've got several reels, but 3 of them are Aldebarans, 2 of them are PW100s, and then 1 of these. So I've only really got 3 frame sizes. But once I get those other 2 reels coming in, and then probably when I get around Charles or some of those other guys that's got more reels, I may take some different measurements. So just so you guys can kind of see what that difference is. And I cannot find my freaking scale. I have 2 scales to weigh spools and parts and stuff, and I had them out for the RC. I don't know what we were weighing, RC stuff. And I don't know if the boys moved them or what's gone, but they're gone. They are out of here. I looked all over this garage. I can't find them. I'm not the most organized person, but they're not in my sight. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about the shootout. I did do a shootout. It was getting dark. Which reel can cast this weight? Now, back when you guys have seen all the other videos, I was throwing the ALC BF7 beat everybody. I was throwing this kind of thing. 16th ounce jig head with this little skirt, which made it a little bit heavier. Well, today I went out and I threw this lure. There's a little lead head in there, so it's actually a little bit lighter than this. But the true weight doesn't really matter other than, it's like right around 16th ounce, no more than 2 grams. And that's what I was throwing. And you can tell by how beat up it is. It was hitting the street. And I roughly measured it. And I know you guys, the whole shootout video is kind of, even on the reel test when he does his, there's no way to just show you the actual thing going on and you can get 100% accurate proof on camera. You just have to kind of take our word for it when we're saying it. But nothing beats this that I have right now. The ALC BF7 would have definitely still beat this. The ALC BF7 and the Daiwa Air TW can cast this farther than this. It's only 2 reels I've ever, seen stock that can beat the Aldebaran. And they really honestly can't beat it by much, but they can beat it. And it may be by a foot, but that's all it takes. And but like you've heard other guys mention that the ALC, your Abu Garcia reels, for whatever reason they're kind of a finicky spool compared to like this reel and the real high end. And in the Alpha's TW Air is probably even less finicky than this and throws them straighter when you're talking this kind of weight or maybe a touch lighter. But when you go up in weight and you double that and you go to an 1/8 or heavier, this reel all day long on any of them. Because the overall ease and the simple fact that I just leave it set. Where it's set at right now, it's at like number 4. And I just throw everything. I'll throw up to almost 1/2 ounce baits. I don't have issues. I throw, like I just don't, there's no need. It's a set it and forget it kind of reel. And that's what also makes this an awesome reel. And I'll be honest, this reel is close to that too. It's just, I can switch weights where I've got it set right now. And if you guys look, I think I had both of them about 6.5 on the brake dial. And it'll throw this about 4 foot less than the Aldebaran. Maybe not even 4 foot, but it is less. You can physically see the difference. Like, it comes up short. The longest cast I can get with this is probably still a foot or so from the shortest cast I get from the Aldebaran, but overall about 3 to 4 foot. And about 60, close to 60 feet with this little bait. I walked it off out into the street. They were both all landing like close to the middle of the street. The Aldebaran was going past the middle. I walked off the very middle of the street with 60 feet. There was kind of a crack in there's cracks all over the streets here in Missouri. But anyway, the Aldebaran most casts would overshoot halfway, some not quite. This, every once in a while, I could get it almost halfway. Okay. Probably a little easier than this reel, but the Clamber, I couldn't, I'm still getting used to this one. And I'll be honest, this is all the line that was on the other PW100. And you guys can tell me if you guys run that much line. I think it's just too much. I didn't take time to take some off. I need to take some of that line off, and I'll do a better shootout at some point. Plus, it was a little bit of a breeze today. That's why I didn't even bother trying to make a video. It wasn't 100% accurate, but it was accurate enough that I accomplished what I wanted. This is an awesome casting reel. It is right there with that reel. That reel I've thrown for a long time, thrown that one for even longer, and I'm used to how they work. This one, I could tell as I was using it, it kept getting better and better. And garage door's opening. So, and it's right there. It's like within a foot. It's harder to get it to as far as that one will cast, but it will go there, you know, within a foot. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that. And I will put together a full blown video at some point. I'm trying to figure out a way to show the distance as it's landing, kind of thing. Maybe a camera here, camera there, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't have the lingo yet. It's coming. It's definitely lighter. I can't remember. This spool is supposed to be... Is it supposed to be a lot lighter than this? Look at that. That's what happens when you throw into the wind. But no, this one's not tangled up. It's just from me twirling it around. But yeah, this reel still definitely casts further and easier. And there was enough wind blowing that if I threw right when the wind picked up, they would all kind of start to over spool, but there was no need to try to dial the brakes back tighter because then I could cast and cast, no big deal.
What you doing?
Making a video. You're live. What are you doing? Don't be putting stuff on TikTok while I'm making YouTube videos.
No, it's just a picture.
Oh. I don't see none of these reels on TikTok,
Can you
okay?
move your hand?
Oh. She's down here taking... What are you doing? Taking a picture of how much I can destroy stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Could you put this back together if I gave you $100? Two reels, put them back together. No, show you.
Yeah.
Could you put this back together, Javier, for $100?
Hey, you know my
Both
neighbor?
reels, have them back together,
you
working
know our
fine.
Neighbor, he's like a big fisher person.
Who? What neighbor?
The one across the street.
He ain't no big fisher person.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't bigger than me. Who am I? I'm Bass and Bonsai. That's who I am.
Come on. What?
All right, guys, kids are home. I probably better get this thing wrapped up. 32 minutes. I don't know. Shut the garage door. It'll come running. There it was.
The cat wasn't up there because she just ran by.
Ran by you. That's why the garage door wouldn't shut. See? We got a cat that escapes outside, but as soon as you hit the garage door button, it comes running back in.
Have you ever let one of these go and just
No, don't do it either. Valencia's going to work out with my bands. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to get these back together. First, I'll be honest. I'm going to take this. I'm going to try to figure out how to get that to make more noise. Did you hear that difference in that? Which one do you think's louder? Which one sounds better?
The second one.
This one?
No.
This one sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even look. Even Valencia, who doesn't even hardly ever fish, thinks this one's a better sounding one.
And I said it was the better looking one.
No. This is the one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is the one, the red one.
Mm.
Not this one. I got them both apart. This is the one that's same as this one. I asked her earlier also, I was like, which one of these looks like the most expensive one? And she actually got it. She guessed this one. But then she backtracked. She said, that one looks, what'd you call it? Fancier? Or she had some word she called it.
I said that one looks fancier.
But then this one, she says, but this one looks fancier. She thought, she kind of backtracked and tried to say the Clamber was worth more money. So that shows you they're coming around as far as what they look like and kind of feel. But this internal part here has got me wondering. Let me just take it off. Let me just take it apart. Oh my God. I don't know how that comes off. Oh, I see how. I got to somehow get that up and the pin. Oh boy, that looks tricky.
Why are you taking it apart?
Because I want to fix it. I know it wasn't broke, but I'm going to fix it.
What if it
See that noise?
now?
Oh, it ain't broke. I can put it right back together. It's just very quiet. See, here's the noise I want. Hear that? Or this? This one, I put this one in out of the dial. It works awesome. But it's the different ones.
Why did it sound like that?
It's for a reason. You remember when I took you fishing and the fish is like running and you're just still trying to reel and you're hearing that and you're over here doing this and I tell you stop reeling because you're not doing any good? That's why. When a fish is pulling drag, it does no good to sit and crank this handle. All you're doing is whistling Dixie. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Get out, catch some fish, and tell your friends and neighbors, Bass and Bonsai, coming to a honey hole near you with reels that are put together.